Inspiration, motivation, and encouragement is brewing. Welcome to the Tea Time with Tan podcast, where you experience innovative solutions and creative ideas designed for your colossal dream success. Let's sip. Here's your host, Tan.
Hello everyone. This is your host Tan Tate. Yes, I am Tan Tate, and I want to welcome you to the Tea Time with Tan podcast show. Now I'm coming to you from the great state of Texas, a little sweet city known as Channelview, right on the outskirts of Houston. Listen, the tea today is going to be good. How many of you ready to sip? All right, the audience is saying they are ready to sip. Here, the tea is about inspiration, motivation, and encouragement. We also like to provide you with life skill tools, tips, and resources that colossal size how you live. Yeah, I know. Colossal size is not a word that you may find in the dictionary, but you guys, you know what colossal mean. That's when it is the biggest. So we want you to live your biggest dreams, have your biggest hopes, your biggest mission, your biggest vision, the biggest results ever. That is how we endeavor you to live here at Tea Time with Tan. Now, before we get started, we always like to welcome our first-time listeners. So let's give it up for the first-time listeners. Yeah, we're happy you here with us. And to the repeat, the return, the faithful, the loyal, the committed, the ones who like, the ones who share, the ones who care. Yes, those who sip tea with us on the regular, we salute you today. So thank you. Listen, we're in the month of June, and this month here at Tea Time with Tan is all about the word focus. And focus is an acronym. The F represents family, the O represents obedience, the C represents consistency, the U represents understanding, and the S represents success. So all month long, we're going to be giving you tips and talking about topics to help you increase in your focus as you journey in this thing called life. So we always begin with a get it together moment. I'm going to give you an opportunity to get it together. You know what we like to do. Clear your mind, clear your space, get your pen, your Tea Time with Tan journal, whatever it takes so that you can record notes so that you can be ready to receive the information that's going to be provided and sip on what we like to call tea. Listen, the topic today is going to be great. It is going to be an eye-opener. You will be inspired, motivated, and encouraged to continue to focus on your journey. So I'm going to give you about 60 seconds. Y'all get it together now. And while y'all do that, you know I like to jam. And listen, connect with me on social media. Tea Time with Tan, the podcast show. Over on Facebook and the IG, you can find me at Tea Time with Tan. Or you can visit my personal page. I am Tan Tate on Facebook and Instagram. Listen, on Twitter, I am Anointed, the number 2 speak. That's Anointed to Speak. Also on Snapchat. And listen, if you want to know where we're listening, where you can listen to us these days, you can go over to iHeartRadio, visit Spreaker.com, go to podcast on your iTunes. You know, we're over in Google, SoundCloud, Spotify, just wherever streaming outlets are. That's where you can locate us. Hey. And I I want to thank everybody that participated in the Walk of Faith. You guys know that walk honors the legacy of my daughter that was killed in a motorcycle accident. We recently came off of the 7th annual Walk of Faith, and let me tell you, it was fantabulous. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's tea. Hey, you. That's how we introduce the tea now, y'all. When I say hey, you say hey, you. Hey, you, hey, you, hey, you, hey, you, hey, you. All right. Today, we want to talk about the O in focus. And that is obedience. And we know what it means to be obedient. We know that typically we hear that word, especially dealing with our parents. We're taught growing up, you need to be obedient. You need to mind what your parents tell you to do. You need to do it. Whatever your parents tell you to do something, you just need to do it. Obedient, obedient, obedient. Obey the law. Be obedient to the law. Whatever the laws of the land are, be obedient. Police pull you over, pull over. Police tell you get out the car, get out the car. Some of us have to get out with our hands up. You know who you are. That's a different podcast show, but we have to be obedient, because if we are not obedient, there are consequences. There are consequences. And most times when we are not obedient, the consequences are not in our favor. They're not favorable. Today I want to talk about the person we probably are the least obedient to. Take a guess. Who do you think that is? Okay, so the audience, they just clown and they don't know. It's you being obedient to yourself. Oftentimes, we don't listen to ourselves. We don't listen to our gut feelings. We don't listen to our past experiences. We tend to ignore everything that we are trying to tell ourselves. So today, I want you to recognize and realize the importance of being obedient to you. For example, if you're restricting, or not necessarily restricting, but you're improving your way of living, the healthiness of your life, you may be on a regimen that it requires you to drink plenty of water. So you've said to yourself, okay, today I'm going to drink about 80 ounces of water. Midway through the day, you may only be at 20. We find ourselves saying, well, okay, that's enough. That's 20 more than I had yesterday. So we're not being obedient to ourselves. We're not listening to what we said we were going to do. Sometimes you may be driving and you're like, I'm not going to ever go this way again, because every time I come this way, it is traffic. There's always an accident. There's always something that causes me to be late, that causes a delay in where I'm trying to go. Get in the car the very way you said you were not going to go. You go that way, find yourself in a traffic jam, and then you're like, man, I should have listened to myself. I should have listened to myself. You're right. You should have listened to yourself. You should have been obedient to yourself. Listen. You matter. Your goals, your dreams, your mission, what you're trying to accomplish. You matter. So if you haven't been being obedient to yourself, now is the time to start. If you say you're not going to eat certain foods, don't eat those foods. If you say you're not going to wear certain things, don't wear those certain things. And most times, this is a real good one here. We said we're going to leave certain people alone. We've recognized and realized that we need to remove ourselves from a toxic environment, from negative Nancy, negative Neil, procrastinating Peggy, put it off Paul. We all have those individuals in our lives who are known for something, and we know we need to cut them off. And we say time and time again, I'm going to cut off so and so. That's it. I'm done. And then a week later, month later, however long later, you find yourself back actively engaged with that individual. You were not obedient. Even in the Bible tells us obedience is better than sacrifice. There's another scripture where God says, the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. We have to be obedient to ourselves. So I want to give you some tips to help you recognize or become more obedient to yourself. A, be more respectful of yourself. A part of being obedient is showing respect to yourself, honoring your ideas and honoring what's best for you. And show that you are worth listening by doing what you said you were going to do, what you told yourself you were going to do. Oftentimes we demand or we require respect from others, but we lack it within ourselves. Be respectful of yourself. You deserve it. The second tip regarding improving being obedient to yourself is be attentive to your action plan, to your goals, to your vision, to your mission. Ooh, y'all, I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all heard that knock, but hey, I'm in the studio and then somebody was knocking on the door. I'm like, knocking. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about being attentive to your action plan, to your goals, to your mission, to your vision. Listen, you developed that action plan. You developed those goals. You developed that mission statement. You developed that vision for a purpose. And one way to become more obedient to yourself is to be attentive to your action plan, your action items. It's important that you get that. See, obedience means doing what you see need to be done so that you can complete what it is you said you were going to do. So be obedient to yourself. If you got an action plan, pull it out. Look at it. Wherever you may have been lax at, now is the time to get in the game and get it done. Everybody gets distracted occasionally. That's why it's important to write the vision and make it plain. Not only so others can run with it, so you can run with it. Now, the third and final tip is to consider and remember your why, your purpose. Why is it that you are doing what you're doing? Who are you created to be? What's your purpose? What's your passion? And when you can remember the why, know what it is you were created to do, that helps you remove the barriers that prevent you from doing what you said you were going to do. So remember your why. Remember your purpose. Even when you have to self-talk yourself, self-coach yourself, to go and do something, remember your why. Be like, now I know this is why I have to do this. Let me follow through. Let me do this. Listen, don't forget about you. You are enough. You are more than enough. You deserve this. So be obedient to yourself. Do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you are going to do. Check your integrity compass. Let that lead and guide you. Take the obedience check. It's important that you be obedient to yourself so you can see and live who you were created to be. Now, as this session comes to a close, I always like to give you an inspiration moment of today. I always like to give you a call to action. So what I'm